world. The weather outside is not that cold, and if you take my hand, I'll walk with you to Georgia.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Country with Celine. I'm your host, Celine Schmarkey, and on today's show, pleased to welcome veteran singer, songwriter as well, Scotty Hasting.
Oh, I'm free to be the song we're singing. I'm the seed that's in the dust. I'm the prayer in God we trust. The place to dream for all of us. I'm America.
Scotty, how are you doing today?
I am wonderful. Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy that you're here and you're in Nashville today, correct?
I am, yes, and it is warm outside.
I was going to touch on that. I've been following along to the weather and I am so jealous. It's like 30 degrees over there, sunny. Oh,
yes.
No,
yes, it's beautiful outside.
Very jealous, very jealous. All right. Well, I just want to get straight into it here. So you have a little bit of an interesting story into country music. So I want to give you the floor and please elaborate on how exactly you went from being in the Army to getting into country music.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't know if we have enough time for that. But yeah, so it all started, it all started April 21st, 2011, when I was on patrol in Afghanistan with the United States Army, and I was shot 10 times, 5 times in the shoulder, 4 times in the hip, and once in the thigh. And then from there, in a very long process of trying to heal as much as possible, throughout that, I had found archery and an adaptive sport, and it kind of became an escape and a way for me to find peace in my head. And it was filled, my head was filled with PTSD, depression, anxiety, all that stuff that I was just dealing with, all the stuff that was left over from going to war and having to fight an enemy. And so I found archery, and it gave me a little bit of a peace and a little bit of an escape. And so I did that for a very long time. I shot with the U.S. Paralympic program. I traveled all over the country and shot archery professionally. And that's what I did when I got out of the military, after a very long process of trying to stay in the military and trying to heal as much as possible. It was a whole thing. It's really been a whole thing. My life has been wild. Yeah. So
archery,
there,
okay.
yeah, archery, yeah. It's so weird. Like when I got back to Fort Riley after being at Walter Reed for 6 months, almost a year actually, and so when I got back to Fort Riley, they gave me a list of all these different things that I could try, because at the time the Surgeon General of the Army was pushing adaptive sports as a way to rekindle a little bit of the competitiveness, because in the Army, like, you are always competing. You're competing for the next job that you want to do. You're competing for the next school or the next training or the next promotion that you want to get. You're always competing. And when you get injured, you immediately lose that. Your job is no longer to compete. It's just to heal and get better and either continue in the Army or get out of the Army. So the way that the Army thought that they could reignite the competitiveness is with adaptive sports. And I tried this giant list of all the adaptive sports, but archery was the one that fit. It was the one that worked. And it's funny, I tried. I'm naturally right-handed. I was shot in the brachial plexus on the right side, meaning that all the nerves and stuff that go into my arm were affected. So now I have nerve damage in my right hand. I can move this finger and I can move this finger, and that's it. These 3 fingers just kind of live. They just do their own thing.
Yeah.
And I have no feeling in this hand whatsoever. So I'm right-handed, and the archery guy was like, "Are you right-handed or left-handed?" I told him right-handed because that's what I was growing up. That's my whole life. I was right-handed. And he's like, "Okay." And then he gave me the little release that you put on your wrist and you try to fire. And like 3 arrows into the ceiling later, they were like, "You're a liability. You need to put it down right now or you're going to hurt somebody." And I was like, "No, you're not going to tell me. Like, I'm going to figure out how to do this." And I noticed that, this hand doesn't do anything. So what if I held the bow with this hand and I pulled back with this hand? And he was like, "Yeah, let's give it a shot." And luckily we did, because I did it so well that eventually I got recruited by the U.S. Paralympic Committee and
Wow.
traveled all over the country shooting archery professionally with the U.S. Paralympic program. And
That's
it was
amazing.
amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was amazing. And it was therapy, you know, for, like I said, for those 7 seconds, I was able to disappear into something. I was able to escape into what I was doing, you know, for the 7 seconds, the PTSD, the depression, the
Hmm.
anxiety, all the crap that I deal with on a daily basis was gone. I didn't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, naturally COVID happens and the world shuts down. Which means archery shuts down, which means my therapy has now been ripped from underneath me. And, you know, when it gets quiet is when the demons knock the loudest. And I needed something. Um, and I always had a guitar in the corner of my room. And one day I was just looking at it and I was like, you know what? I'm going to learn how to play this thing. And I jumped on YouTube and truly deep dove into learning how to play the guitar. I have watched so many videos on YouTube about playing the guitar. That doesn't mean I'm a great guitar player. It just means I've watched a lot of videos about it. Um, but yeah, so I started learning that, and I started learning songs that like I grew up listening to. I grew up in the 90s, the late 90s, and for me, the 90s was like the best time for country music.
Yeah, fair.
And that's what I grew up on. So I started learning how to play songs that I grew up listening to, and the reason why I did that is because I knew what they were supposed to sound like. So if it didn't sound like it, then I knew something was off and I needed to fix it. And so I started learning songs. And then eventually I was sitting there and I was like, man, I want to, like, I have all these feelings and all of these thoughts and I just want to put them somewhere. Like I have that my glass is about to overflow and I need to get this out. I need to put it somewhere. So then I jumped on YouTube again and I started learning how to write songs.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
so
didn't know they made like YouTube videos about how to write a song.
oh
I thought
man, I feel like
that's
I feel like you could find anything on YouTube.
yeah,
Like you can learn
clearly.
how to do anything on YouTube, I feel like. Um, but yeah, so I jumped into that and you know, learning how to play the guitar and learning how to write songs became my new therapy. It became my new way of escaping and my new peace that I could find throughout the day. So I did it all the time. I mean, it was something that I needed. I had some buddies that were going to an open mic night. You know, it's still COVID time, so Nashville's still shut down, but the outskirts of Nashville are open because they're like, hey, we can't survive. Like,
Yeah.
we have to open and you guys just stay away from each other. You know, like they're like, listen, we're gonna open, but y'all stay the heck away from each other. Like everyone's standing in a different corner.
Yeah.
So I got on stage in Cookeville, Tennessee, and I played the first song I ever learned how to play, which was "Should Have Been a Cowboy" by Toby Keith. Rest in peace, Toby Keith.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I played that, and in that moment, I knew that this was something I needed to do forever. My that escape and that therapy that I had found in all of those things previously, it was that, but it was magnified 100 times. And I was like, this is what I need to do forever. Um,
Hmm.
and then, you know, slowly the world started opening back up, which means Nashville started opening back up. And I had heard through the musician grapevine that Nashville, when you play on Broadway, you're playing for 3 to 4 hours at a time.
Yeah.
And I was like, you mean to tell me 3 or 4 hours out of the day I can have peace and I can have an escape and I can have that therapy for that amount of time? Like, I need to do this. So I literally walked up and down Broadway talking to all the people that book shows and just bugging the crap out of them until they lit me on a stage. And then they're finally like, okay, yeah. And so I got to the point where I was playing 3 to 4 nights a week, sometimes 5 nights a week, because it was my escape. You know, I lived for those 3 to 4 hours a day because I was able to find that escape and that therapy and that peace for that amount of time.
Hmm.
And then randomly through a crazy coincidence, I meet Michael Kerr, who is the president and CEO's son of Black River, where I'm at now. And he was like, man, like I love your story. Like at the time I had a song out, and he's like, I'm gonna send this to Doug Johnson, who's the vice president of A&R, and my dad. And I was like, great, awesome, heck yeah, that's awesome. You know,
Yeah.
this Nashville's I love Nashville, but it's full of a lot of people that talk, and you know, nothing really comes from it. But 3 hours later, I get a call from Doug Johnson, and he's like, we need to meet each other. And I said, I'll come right now. Like I'll head that way right now. And he's like, no, no, like let's schedule a meet. And I was like, okay, fine. Uh, but yeah, and that was a little over 2 years ago, and now here I am with a record deal and a pub
Yeah.
deal. It's just it's been an incredible ride, and it has been amazing. And and now I'm at the point, and I'm so incredibly blessed. Number one, with such an amazing team behind me at Black River that gives me the freedom to want to help people with my music. That's that I use music selfishly a little bit for therapy for myself, but also I'm at the point now, and I'm at the level now where I can use my music for other people to help them and to try
Hmm.
to, give them hope and to try to show them that, I'm 36. I'm broken from getting shot. Like, and here I am up on a stage playing music and living a dream that I never knew was a dream until it became what
Yeah.
it is. Um, and it's I hope that people hear my music and it helps them either decide to try tomorrow and gives them hope for the next day, or they see me up there and they're like, man, if this dude can be up there, like there's nothing that's stopping me from doing what I want to do. And for me, that from the very beginning, I've told Black River, my label, everybody who's a part of what I'm doing from the very beginning, I've told them that I don't care about being famous. I don't care about making a buttload of money. All I want is for someone to hear my music and for them to decide to put the gun down, or for them to decide to try tomorrow and then try tomorrow and then tomorrow. And then 5 or 10 years down the road, look at the day that they decided to live and see everything that they have because of that. And if I can help if I can help anyone with my music, I've done more in this industry than I could ever imagine doing.
No, your story is so inspiring, especially to people who have the same background
Yeah.
as you, for sure. And like looking at you, people, this might be an odd word to use, but like they kind of idolize you in a way, thinking like, oh, like he did this, I
Yeah.
can eventually be okay. And your music is healing. That's what music is, though. Music is
That's,
therapy. Like no matter
that's
what you're going through, you can shut the world off by just turning on something, whoever you want to listen to, and just kind of sitting there, and nothing will matter except that exact moment and the peace that you feel. And
absolutely.
that's one thing about music, that nothing can take that away from it. It's just something that helps everybody. It's such a universal therapy. And
Absolutely. It's incredible. It really is. And
mhm,
I'm so blessed that I have the platform that I do. And
yeah.
I hope that, I never, I hope that I never take it for granted. And I'm going to work my butt off to make sure I don't. So
Yep. And we can't wait to hear more music from you
thank you.
as
Thank you.
well. Yeah,
I
you're
can't wait to
welcome.
put more out. I got a bunch that I'm just waiting to just throw out there.
Oh,
But
well.
the higher powers are like,
Yeah.
no, not yet, not yet. I'm like, oh,
No,
come
yeah.
on, man.
But it's crazy how everything does happen for a reason. I
Mhm.
mean, I've experienced that saying, and before like a certain life altering event, you don't really realize it until afterwards. Because like
Yes.
in the moment, you're just like, oh, what am I gonna do now with my life? I have no idea. And then like as you months go by, days go by, you start to realize, okay, this happened, so this
Yep.
could happen. Like if what happened to you at war didn't happen, who knows if you would be here today exactly doing
Absolutely.
what you do. So it's pretty crazy the way everything kind of just pans out, and there's
Yeah.
always a plan for everything.
100%. There is definitely a plan for everything.
Yep.
Still trying to figure out what my plan
You
is.
know what? And that's totally fair. I feel like everybody's on their own journey to kind of figure out why they are here.
100%.
And it takes a while to realize it, but eventually we all do. And slowly you're starting to realize that as well. I mean, if you have
Yeah.
the platform to help other people that have been in your shoes,
Yep.
there you go.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about.
Yep, exactly. And
For
now
sure.
your debut EP, I'm America, is slated
Yeah.
to be released May the 3rd. So,
Yes.
what can you share about that? I know you already released the single from that album, but let's just chat more about the songs that
Yeah.
haven't been heard yet.
That this EP is, with it being my debut. I'm so blessed that I have the team that I do, because I wanted this EP to show everyone who I am, to show them my heart and my soul, and let people get to know me. If I'm going to help people with my music, I have to be incredibly transparent with who I am.
Yeah.
And this EP is going to do that. Every line of every song in this EP, whether I wrote the song or not, is a part of me. It is truly my heart and soul, and hopefully people, take away a better understanding of who I am, and what we as veterans go through a little bit, and the struggles, and the victories, and it's such an incredible EP. It really is, and it truly is my heart and soul put into words in a song.
Well, it's going to be really exciting to hear once it's all packaged and ready for the world to hear. But if you had to pick one song on the EP, I know it's always difficult, but if you had to pick one that you can't wait for listeners to hear, which song would it be?
Oh man. So there's 3 songs right now that are on it that are already out. So the ones that I can't wait for them to hear. Jesus. There's 2.
That's fine. You can drop
There's
2.
2, and for
I'll let you
different
do
reasons.
it.
So Whiskey in the Bottle is the first track, and it is such a fun song that talks about just living life to the fullest. And I love what it says, and I love the tempo of it and how good it makes you feel when you listen to it. But there's also a song on there that I've kind of shared a little bit on my TikTok and it's called Good Old Dogs and God. And it talks about dogs and how they change lives. I have seen and experienced firsthand service dogs saving people's lives. I've seen it. I had a service dog for a long time named Danny, and he saved my life. I mean, he helped me through such incredibly difficult situations and things that I never thought I would have to do. And I've seen it save people's lives, give them a new purpose. And when I heard that song, I was immediately like, I have to be a part of this song. I don't care what I got to do. I will learn how to record music. I don't care. I have to be a part of this song. So yeah, there's 2 songs that I really can't wait for people to hear that they haven't heard yet for different reasons, but that is definitely that.
I got shivers when you said that. I love dogs. Dogs are a man's best friend. They really are. They're so smart. They're so talented, and they know if something is wrong, they know.
Absolutely. And literally you can tell them anything, and they're just gonna look at you like they love you. They don't care. They'll never judge you.
No, unconditional love for sure. And just speaking of dogs, when I see certain people abuse that power, it breaks my heart, because they will still love you unconditionally, and 100%. It's just, you don't deserve them if you're not going to love them back.
I agree 100%.
Yeah. And now, dream collaboration, because when you're talking, first off, when you said Should Have Been a Cowboy by Toby Keith, I want to hear that. So if you can find that, please post that, because I feel like that sounds awesome.
I don't know if anyone wants to hear it. It was probably awful. It was probably awful.
Okay.
Because I had just learned how to play the guitar. So who knows? I mean, the timing was probably terrible. It was, goodness.
Hey.
I don't want that out there in the world.
Now you can redo it, okay? Now you can redo it, and you can put it out there, okay?
Yes.
I'm sure it would sound really good. But a dream collaboration, I want you to tell me who you would love to collab with. Because for me, just listening to your voice and your story, I don't think Brantley Gilbert ever went to the war, or if he did, I just didn't know that. But the vibe of the songs, he's a very patriotic American.
Yes.
And I feel like him and you on a song would be flawless.
That would be amazing. Brantley's incredible. Dream collab. Allie, this one's going to be hard because my dream collab has already happened.
Who was the dream collab? Please tell me.
I can't say it yet.
Oh.
Dang it. Okay.
That's okay. Okay, second dream collab then.
Okay, my
someone
second
that you haven't done yet.
100% Luke Combs. I love his music. I love what it stands for. I love his music is like the 90s country that we grew up listening to. It tells stories and it means something. It's not just like words put in, like there's a reason behind his music, which is incredible. And I have always been a giant fan of Luke Combs's music. Another one, Jelly Roll. I want to get in a room and I want, I want to write a song with Jelly Roll that would just break people's hearts. Because me and him both, use music to fight our demons. We just, you know, we have different demons because he went to prison and did his past life stuff, and I went to war and did all of that stuff. So we have different demons, but both of us use music as ammunition to fight them. And I would love to get in a room with him and just write something that just like is our heart thrown out there.
I feel
Love
this.
that. Oh man. I mean, Nate Smith, I think, has some
Hey,
incredible music out right now that I would love to be a part of something he's doing. There's just so many. Honestly,
sure.
I'm such a fan of music that like I literally anybody. I don't let me be a part of it. I don't care who it is. They're all of, especially right now, all of country music is so great right now, and it's
Hmm.
just everyone is so freaking good and everyone's so talented. Their music is incredible. And but yeah, if I could pick the one person, it would be Luke Combs. I love his music.
Luke Combs is amazing.
Yes.
And even seeing him perform live, he sounds the same because there's so many artists when you listen to them live, they don't really sound like their records, but he
Yeah.
sounds exactly like it's like you're
Amazing.
listening to him straight off in your car.
Amazing. I love that.
Really
So
good. All right. And now actually speaking of Luke Combs, speaking of country, speaking of hockey, let's just chuck in some hockey there. So you got to play, well, play.
did.
The way I just worded that sounded like you got to actually play a game, but you
That'd be
didn't get
wild because I've never played
to
hockey before in my life. So that would,
you got to
oh,
play at the Nashville Predators game, obviously like where the bands perform. So how was that experience like?
it was incredible. I love that you brought up hockey. That is such a Canadian thing to do. And
Too.
but but you're like, oh, hockey. Absolutely. Yes,
I
we can
know
talk about
there was
hockey.
like no correlation to that, but I'm like, yeah, hockey too. Let's chuck it
I
in.
love it. That's so funny. Um, but no, it was one of the greatest nights of my life. There were 17,000 people there. I've
Crazy.
never there was like, so it was incredible because I had the band there, I had my guys there. It was so cool. But there was like right before the very last song, I was like I think I even said this in the mic. I was like, hold on, I have to take a second. Like I've never in a million years ever thought that I would be playing in a place this big. Like the idea, like this was never a dream. Like, and here I am playing in front of all of these people in this arena. Like people would kill to be here. And that, at the end of the day, like that's what I try to do with everything that I do is I just want to look around and really enjoy what I'm doing because there's so many people that would just die, just give everything to be in that moment. And
Mhm.
I don't ever want to not take that moment in. And I want to be able to do it justice and remember it for what it was. And it was so incredible. And I've never played in front of that many people. And it was amazing. Also, if you go to a Predators game, it's one of the greatest things that you've ever done.
So fun.
It's so much fun. I was getting into it. I was yelling with the crowd. Like it was awesome. It was so much fun. We had a blast, but it was so incredibly special because it was something I never thought in a million. It's wild because a year before that was literally a year almost to the day. It was the first time that I realized that there was a stage in Bridgestone Arena. And I was like, I want to play that stage one day. Like that would be
Wow.
incredible if I could play that stage one day. And here I am a year later and I'm on the stage and I'm
Yep.
like, what am I doing here? Like
So
this is what there's so many things that I've done that I'm like, how am I here? Like what is going on? And it's just one of those moments that you really just have to take in
mhm.
because it's unbelievable.
You really have to take it in. It's such a surreal feeling. And it's so full circle too to think like a year ago, you just discovered that there was a stage, and a
It's
year
unreal.
later, you're playing on it. And now you can say that you've played at Bridgestone Arena because
I
you
played an
did.
arena. I played an arena show. Look
Yeah,
at
exactly. Exactly.
absolutely.
And I'm sure the guys too, they definitely heard from the locker room. They heard you playing. So,
It was special. It was so incredible. And yeah, it's a day that I'll remember forever.
okay, well, since you remember this day forever, who won the game?
Oh, the Preds, they
Okay.
whooped butt. I mean, they were scoring left and right. It was amazing. Also, when the Preds score, there's nothing like it in the world. It's
No.
so funny because the crowd gets into it and they chant "You suck" to everyone, and it's oh my God, it's incredible. It's so much fun. If the people listening here, if you ever come to Nashville, go to a Preds game because it's
You got it.
so much fun.
You have to go to a Preds game.
Yes.
I went to my first last year, and yeah, when they were chanting like "You suck," I was like, "Whoa, whoa,
Yeah.
what?"
It's like, whoa, hold on. And then like the second time you're like, yeah, you suck.
Yeah.
You own it too. Yeah. It's
You're like
so,
joining
God, it's
in.
so much fun.
And then the goal song too. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. It's so
Oh
good.
man, yes.
Can't go wrong.
It's such an incredible environment. It really is.
Well, you know, now the Predators are taking on the Vancouver Canucks in the first round of the playoffs, and that's where I am.
Oh,
yeah. So we got a rivalry going on now.
oh, we do, because I bleed Predator now, so it's so sorry, but
Okay, that's fair. Well,
yeah.
I bleed blue now, so
Oh,
yeah,
well, there you
I
go.
bleed Orca. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
All right. Now, Scotty, actually, before I let you go, I just want to ask you one more question here.
Absolutely.
What's something that you want to accomplish in your career? Like, what's like one big goal that you want to accomplish?
You know, there's a lot. There's a lot. There's different things that I want to accomplish, you know.
Okay.
Selfishly, of course, I want to play the Opry. I
Yep.
mean, what artist doesn't? I mean, it's when you play the Opry, that means that you're really, truly doing something in this industry. And I think it's such a huge step in your career as an artist in country music. But truly, what I want to accomplish is just to help as many people as possible with my music. Really, that for me is the end goal, is just to help somebody. I don't, you know, like I said before, I don't, you know, I could go my whole life with not playing the Opry, as long as I know people are hearing my music and it's helping them in some way, shape, or form.
I love that.
Yeah.
I really, truly love that for you, Scotty. And
thank you.
And to perform at the Grand Ole Opry is like the greatest honor for a country singer.
I mean, that is it, you know, like that.
Yeah.
That's where people, when you get there like that, you become. I think it really truly legitimizes what you're doing if you get a chance to step on that stage.
Well, you're gonna get a chance to step on that stage. I have no doubt about that.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you so much for chatting with me today, Scotty. I love learning.
Pleasure.
Yeah, no, I love learning a lot more about you and your story. It really is inspiring, especially for people that have the same sort of background as you. They can look up to you and know that everything's going to be okay on the other side. So they truly love that. And I love talking to you. So thank you.
I really appreciate it and enjoyed every minute and second of this. Thank you.
Thanks, Scotty.
Absolutely.
I'm the seed that's in the blood.